Okay, well, we welcome you to an extra yoga class. I called it special yoga class first, and then I was like, I don't know if anybody will come. They'll probably be like, what are we doing if it's special? So then I said, well, I'll call it extra. But anyway, long story short, we're glad to have you here for this extra yoga class here at Nestling. Glad to have you virtually with us as well and on Facebook and Teams. So remember, with this practice, or really anything you do, whether it's yoga or just your exercise regime, whatever it may be, when your body tells you something doesn't feel right, it's not. So that old adage of no pain, no gain is out the window. So please, if you feel any pain or strain, change, modify. And I'll show you some modifications, but you may have better ones for your own body. This practice is a way to learn the body, to learn more about the body, how you move, what you can do, what you can't, and just learning about the body so that you know it so well that when something does feel wrong, you notice it pretty soon. And it's also not just a physical practice, it's very much a mental, emotional, a spiritual, and energetic practice. So all that being said, I want you to find a comfortable spot, just kind of rock back and forth a time or two, and just notice the spot that you have occupied. Take a deep breath. The breath is always a great vehicle to transport you into that place where you can just be still. As you release that breath, allow everything to just relax. The shoulders move away from the ears. The face loses all expression. Lines in the forehead erased. Tightness around the eyes and the cheek and the jaw, around the teeth, all of that released. The hips, the knees, releasing any tension and relaxing towards the mat. Maybe turn your palms skyward, resting on the top of your legs. We begin to notice what calls out to us. Notice what has been begging for your attention. Maybe thoughts that are roaming the hallways of the mind. Maybe emotions that you're suppressing in the heart. And then that energy hovering, swirling over your hands. Remember, we're made of energy, vibration, frequency. So we should recognize what we are sending off and what we're receiving. All this being said, take the next few moments to be still. And just take in the present moment. Breathe. With your next deep breath in, allow your face to climb skyward. Feel the stretch in the anterior portion of the throat as the weight of the head drops back and aids in the stretch here. Take another deep cleansing breath in. And as you release this breath, allow the chin to float down to the chest. Let the bend be in the neck. So the body stays long and tall, the shoulders drop down. Again, noticing the weight of the head as the chin pulls closer to the chest here, feeling the stretch now in the posterior portion of the neck. And then allow movement to occur. Just rock the chin from side to side, noting the weight of the head as it crosses over the center of the chest. Maybe coming full circle, one way several times. And then the other. Stop the chin as it rolls over the right collarbone. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Pull that chin down into the chest. Breathe. And then gently lift your chin up as if gazing over to the right of the room. Feel this twist in the neck here. Maybe coming a little bit further into this by swinging that right arm gently back behind you. The left arm sets on the right knee. Maybe the fingers press against the outside of the knee to create resistance to intensify this stretch. Remember your hips stay focused forward in Ardha Matsyendrasana, your half spinal twist. Your right shoulder pulling back, opening up through the pectoralis muscle in your chest. Remember, the more the hand that's on the mat, the deeper the stretch. So if I'm up on my fingertips, not as deep of a stretch as if I'm on my base of my knuckles, or if my whole hand is on the mat, that would be a much deeper stretching. Release through the stretch and allow the chin to fall over the left collarbone. Feel the stretch now down the right side of the neck. As you're moving through your asanas or your postures, pay attention to tension. So you want good tension. You want to feel good, like you're getting a good stretch, but never pain or strain. Lift the chin up as if gazing over to the left of the room. Again, noticing that twist, that stretch in the neck. This is much more than utilizing muscles. You're moving, stretching connective tissue, that fascia, that webbing underneath that connects us. It's the only system in our body that speaks to all the other systems. So very important to keep it mobile. Wonderful. Release that back to neutral here. And when separate the feet, and if you're able, put the soles of the feet together. Maybe they're far away from you. Maybe you're pulling them in towards you. You're coming to your butterfly stretch to stretch your adductors, your inner thighs. You can place your elbows to the inside of the knees, keeping the back long, leaning forward, really stretching through your adductors here. Again, noticing how you feel with every posture. If you don't feel good, change, modify. Now, our hips are a place that we hold a lot of tension and tightness. So I want you to step out with your left foot just a little bit to the left here and drop it forward and back. So we're going to start creating mobility in that hip. Again, mobility, more important than flexibility. Something we need to think about. Mobility, movement. Flexibility will come with that. Think about being mobile as you can. So this doesn't have to drop the knee all the way down or all the way back. Do it to where it feels good for you. Same thing on the opposite side now. Notice if you're needing to prop yourself up with your hand. Maybe working with balance, or are you able to hold your hands up and just balance yourself without grounding yourself by pushing weight into something? Whenever we take weight off, if we're not using our hands or our feet into the mat so much, you're going to use your core a lot more. So feel your core right now. It should be pretty tight. Wonderful. Come to your tabletop. I always like to assess your hands and your wrist and how they feel close to the beginning of the practice, because we put a lot of weight into our hands. So as you're here in your tabletop, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, I want you to lean into your hands. See how it feels. If it doesn't feel good, modify. Make a fist. Come to your forearms. If it does feel good, put a little more weight in. The more you draw the shoulders out past the hands, the more stretch in the wrist you'll have. Remember, we know now that weight bearing is imperative as we age. It's very good for our bones. It makes our bones more dense and stronger. As we lift here with our heart, don't have to strain either head or neck. In fact, I can be looking down to my mat and lift up with my heart. This is your cow pose. Drop the navel as far down to the mat as you can. So really press through that navel. Feel the contraction in your back. Cow. The opposite pose is cat. Draw the back up as high as you can, still putting weight into the hands. Feel the core and that navel draw up into the spine. You can flow back and forth. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Keep the weight in the hands if you can. Inhale, cow. And exhaling cat. One last time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Release back into child's pose. Set your sit bones on your heels. Walk your hands forward. Get a great stretch through the arms. When you find that position where you're getting a great stretch, plant your palms and don't move them, but draw the body back and feel that stretch here in child's pose, Balasana. Know that you can come here anytime you need to during the practice. If you feel like you've been pushed too far or you need a break, come here. Now, from your child's pose, come back up to your tabletop, and I want to really show you an example of a difference of when you take off weight. So I want you to curl through your toes and push into the balls of the feet and lift your knees up. So obviously here, my core is very tight because I took weight off my knees. So this is much more challenging than as if I had kept my knees down on the mat. I also can look at my hands and I can bring that mind-body connection in. So I can, in my mind, turn my thumb to my pinky. I know that I'm not really moving my hands, although my elbows might shift, but I feel that tighter grip and the engagement of all those connective tissues in the arms. Awesome. Now, walk back. So I'm coming back to my low down dog, my puppy, and pushing into the balls of the feet. I feel this in my quads and my glutes as I push into the balls of my feet, and I'm pressing my sit bones down, lengthening through my arms. Puppy pose. Wonderful. Come back. Cover. Again, come back. Puppy. Modify as needed. If this is too much, come to child's pose. If it's too much to hover, set the knees down. Do what you need to do. One last time, rock back. Puppy. And forward. Hovering, tabletop. Release into your child's pose. Now again, be very mindful as you move through the postures. So when I come out of child's pose and I flow forward and drop the lower body, the upper portion of the leg to the mat, the closer the upper portion of the legs fall to the mat, the more my back contracts. If that doesn't feel good in my back, I need to lift up the legs a bit. Putting more weight in the hands, but taking the contraction out of the back. This is your king cobra. If this isn't enough, you can lift your legs off the mat and balance on the tops of your feet. Up dog. So you can always simplify or challenge. Wonderful. As I curl through my toes, I'm going to lift to my downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So I lift my hips up and I'm pressing my hands forward like I'm trying to push away the top of the mat. I drop my head in between my biceps and let it dangle. And I press my heels towards the mat. Maybe you feel the need to walk your feet a step or two closer to your face to get that great stretch up the calf. You can walk through your dog, bending one knee and the other. You can bend them at the same time. Whatever feels good to you. Down dog, such a great posture after you have strengthened your back. Attracting through postures to strengthen the back. Now, when I flow forward through my down dog, I'm in my plank. A nice tight core, pulling my sit bones down so I'm nice straight line here. If this is too much, I set my knees down. I crisscross through my ankles. If it's not enough, I can always challenge when we plank, rotating my navel to the right so that I feel that little bit of a twist. If that's not enough, I can move that left hand in, rotate it to my full side plank. If that's too much, I can always set my left knee down and my back side. If it's not enough, I can lift that right leg to balance. So again, you can always simplify and challenge. Come back down, plank. Lift back up, down dog. Remember, you can come to child's pose anytime you wish or need to. Same thing on the opposite side. I flow forward, plank. Maybe I turn, navel to the left here. Rest of the body staying the same. Maybe I stay there. Maybe I want to move on. Side plank, full or half. Remember, joint on top of joint. Never compromise. Maybe this is not enough and I need to lift that left leg to balance. So again, do what's right for you. This is your practice, your body, your time. Release back. Plank, lift back up. Down dog. Slowly walk forward. Softly, so that you really use your core. You come to the top of your mat and you're in your forward fold. Have a slight bend in the knee. Drop the upper body down, chest to upper thigh. Feel the stretch in the hamstring. So often you will think that you have strained your back, and really it's tight hamstrings. If you're able, pick up your left leg. Doesn't matter how high, but lift as high as you can. Feeling that stretch as you drop your chest to your upper thigh. Standing split. Breathe. Remember, if it bothers you to have your head beneath your heart, come up. So do what you need to do. Although this inverting of blood flow is wonderful, bringing clarity of thought, good sleep, reducing inflammation, of course, helping circulation, and lower that leg down. Raise the hands to the shins. Ardha Uttanasana. Half forward fold. A nice tight core here as you level out the back and hold the body up with that weight into the hands. Now come back in. The opposite side, right leg lifts. Lift the leg up, press into the foot, press the chest to the upper thigh. Standing split. Drop the head down if you're able. Receiving the benefit of converting blood flow. So let that brain bathe in that wonderful blood flow heading towards it. Feel the stretch in the hamstring. Feel the core tight. Drop the head down. Breathe. And release. Right leg to left. Your slow reverse swan dive. Shift the weight to your heels. Keep the back long. Drive the crown of the head forward. Come on up slowly to your full body stretch. Hands marry at heart center. And then release them to your side. And if you're able to balance well, then close your eyes. Have the palms focus forward. Take a moment. Notice your feet and the connection to the mat, the floor, to the earth. Feel the sensation, the energy coming up from the feet. Notice blood flow, sensations, nerves firing, energy, thoughts, emotions. Come with me into a flow. Connect the breath with each movement. Inhale, the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, the hands to the shins, Ardha Uttanasana, and forward fold. Exhale, the hands back down. Inhaling, your left foot and right foot back, downward facing dog. Exhaling, flow to a plank, half a full. Inhaling, lift, even over. Exhaling, come back to a plank. Inhale, lift, down dog. Exhale, softly walk the feet forward, fold. Inhale, your slow reverse swan dive. Exhale your hands, heart center. Take a moment. Something we should do every day, all during the day. Stop. Be still. Be aware. Be in the moment. Listen. Learn. Now, open your feet more than hip width apart. So a nice wide stance here. And then come down as if you were sitting into a chair. We want to come as low as we can without causing pain or strain. Now, we talked about weight. If I put weight in my hands or into my arms here, this is much less challenging than hovering. So you do what you need to do. I want you to hold here long enough that you feel it in your quads and you feel your gluteus, the muscles across your gluteus here. Just hold for a moment. Lift the heart slightly. Press the sit bones down. These isometric exercises, excellent for blood pressure. We know that now. Wonderful. Make a nice tight core. Tighten your abdominal muscles as tight as you can. Take your left arm and reach out over to the right and hold. Feel that stretch down the left arm up at the top, especially in the shoulder area, across the back. Keep pressing that sit bones down. Keep your core tight. Relax any tension in your head and neck. Breathe. And come back up. Same thing on the opposite side now. So my right arm reaches out. Feel that stretch. Press the sit bones down. Maybe release that left arm and set it on your back so that you don't want to put weight in it. But if you need to put weight in it, do it. Wonderful. Bring that right arm back up. Come up just a moment. Press down a little more. Body is lifted. Place your hands on your upper thigh. And now press the sit bones down again. We want to stay engaged here. You want that sweet spot where you're challenging but not causing pain or strain. Drop your right shoulder. Down and up. Now the left. Down all the while. Keep your squat. Don't come up if you can help it. Couple more. Down and up. And again, now maybe this is where you need to stay, but if you're able, drop the hip. Down and up. Down and up. Couple more. Down and up. Keep your squat, keep your core tight. Down and up. Again, maybe you need to stay there, but maybe you're able to come down to a seated squat. You can drop here. Down and up. If this is too much, stay where we were. Down and up. Down and up. Maybe you need to ground yourself with your hands. Maybe balance is an issue tonight. That's okay. Do what you need to do. Couple more. Down and up. Last one. Down and up. Now keep the crown of the head skyward as you push from your feet and come up. Remember, we're working on that. Coming to the floor and coming up without pushing off with our hands or leaning forward. Huge functional movements. That's what it's all about. We want to continue to function as we get older, right? A sun salutation. Come with me to the top of your mat. Take a moment as you transition. Maybe allowing your heart rate to come down a little bit from that segment. Maybe your breath pattern to relax a little bit. Notice that energy on top of your hands. This is important. This is where we tend to feel it the most. But maybe you feel it somewhere else. You're transferring that, taking it and sending it all day. You need to know what it feels like. Where attention goes, energy flows. Sun salutation. Arms come skyward. Swan dive down. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Bring your hands to your shins, Ardha Uttanasana. And back down. Forward fold. Take your left knee, pull it into your chest. Extend the left leg behind you. Runner's lunge. Now, your front toes are looking at the short side of the mat. Your back toes, turn them, spin them out so that they're looking at the long side of the mat. And if you're able, pick up your hands If you need to put weight into your leg, do it. If you're able, just push from the foot. So we use muscle, not momentum. You found your warrior stance. So your front knee lean into your pinky, your back foot pressing all the way through. So don't lean into the inner arch. Push the whole foot down so that we really stretch the outer portion of that leg. Your warrior stance. Bring the arms to either side. Relax through your shoulders. Reach through your fingers. Don't lift your arms any higher than your shoulders. You're in your warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Reverse your palm on the front. Reverse your warrior. Lift your right arm, drop your left. You may stay vertical. Maybe you want to bend, stretching through that oblique on the right side of the abdomen. Maybe you want to twist, totally rotating the upper body to the back. Whatever feels good to you, tweak postures. So when you're in a posture, kind of tweak it, move a little bit. Those subtle changes can make a big difference. Reverse warrior. Then I come back, warrior 2. And I'm going to bring my arms up and rotate to the front or to the right, but now changing from the waist down. What that did, moved into warrior 1, and now you're stretching that hip flexor. So in the upper portion of the left leg, this is really something you need to do after those long virtual meetings, after a long movie on the sofa. Warrior 1. We practice agility from here. So I'm going to pick up the back leg, the back heel, spin the foot, and settle it down. And move it right from warrior 1 to warrior 2. Or excuse me, warrior 1 to high lunge. Crescent. Slowly come down. Now resist coming down. So it's like you're trying to come down, but there's something you're having to push. So really resist. Use muscle. Work against body weight. Find your hands to the mat. Come back to your downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. As we flow from our down dog to our plank, whether our knees are down or not, we notice the weight in the hands. If you want to practice chaturanga, which is a very good arm strengthener, you can just come forward enough that the shoulders come past the hands. Draw the elbows in and slowly make your way down. Slow or quick, whichever you need be. And then push up. King cobra. Let's try that again. Come to your plank. Knees down and knees up. Roll through your toes so that your shoulders can pass your hands. Bring your elbows in. Slowly coming down. And come up. King cobra. Wonderful work with the arms. You can do that up against the wall. You can do it with your knees down. Curl through your toes. Lift to your down dog. Breathe. So in a sun salutation, we end with the leg we started with. So our left leg lifts up. Left knee comes in. Left foot steps forward. And I push my weight into that front foot. And I spin the back toes out. Remember, when we energize, we dial out, if you will, bringing that mind-body connection in. So if I look at my foot and I tell my big toe to turn to my pinky, though I know my foot's not going to move, I feel a difference. I engage the mind with the body. I kick the hands up and push from the foot. Coming up. Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Remember, knee to the pinky in the front, whole foot in the back down so that you feel that nice stretch. Really bend through that front knee. Arms no higher than shoulders. You begin to notice the weight of the arms where we normally don't, right? So we have to hold them up. Turn the palm on the left and lift and lengthen. Whether you stay vertical with the arms, maybe you bend over to stretch that oblique on the left. Maybe you wrap the arms around, rotate to the back here. Notice where you feel this. Come back. Warrior 2. Remember that wonderful transition from Warrior 2 to Warrior 1. We just assume Warrior 2, then we lift the arms up, rotate to the left, feel that hip flexor, that psoas, and that right upper leg as you rotated the body without changing the lower body. You feel that hip flexor up high, up into the groin, that psoas muscle to really lengthen here when you came into Warrior 1. And then we practice agility, moving safely and surely, transitioning. So I lift that back heel and I turn the foot and settle it down, smooth. The more we practice this, safer and smoother, we transition as we move all day. Slowly come down. Find your lunge, stepping forward, 1 step or 2. Forward fold. A slow reverse swan dive brings me up. And my hands vary in heart center. Then I release them to my side, and once again, I ground. This is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So coming to the present moment is a gift you give yourself. You take time to be still, to recognize how you feel, what's going on within you, things that you allow to just happen every day without noticing them and appreciating them, like your heart beating, like that energy flowing from you and to you. Like your thoughts. What are you thinking about? And your emotions. Little do we know that when we move, when we stretch connective tissue, we release emotions that have been trapped and suppressed. Another sun salutation. The arms come skyward. Swan dive down, forward, fold. We pick up the right knee this time. We pull it into the chest and we extend it behind us and then settle it down. So we find our lunge. Once again, if you're able, pick up your hands and come up without pushing or launching it, if you will, off of your knees. Then the more we lift the upper body while we keep weight in that front foot, we feel that stretch again in the hip flexor. We contract that muscle for too long when we sit. It's just like a garden hose. It kinks off. Enzymes can't flow. Circulation can't flow. Energy can't flow. Metabolism can't happen. So it's important that we stretch. Bring the hands to heart center. Gently rotate to the left. Challenge your balance. Weight in that front foot. And press. Maybe you're staying here. Maybe you're challenging a little more. Drop that right hand down to the left foot. Lift the left arm up. Breathe. The less weight you put in that right hand, the more you're using your forward. And you can even challenge. Bring your hands together to the same love. Very much a balance challenge, very much a strength building challenge. So again, make it simple or make it challenging, whatever you need. Step back, downward facing dog. Flow forward to a plank. Maybe we come back to our side planks. Maybe we shift the navel to the right. Just feeling that twist. Maybe we want to come a little more. Rotating to the right. Full plank. Maybe we need to step that left knee down. That's fine. Be in your half plank. Maybe you need to lift the leg up to balance, to challenge. Whatever is best for you. Joint on top of joint. Same thing on the other side. So we lift up first into our down dog. We stretch, lengthen. Flow forward to a plank. Maybe your knees are down. That's fine. Rotate your navel to the left if you need to. Maybe come with a full rotation to the left. Full side plank. You need to balance, lifting that left leg. You choose. And release that to your plank. Lift back to your down dog. Same leg that we end with that we started with. So the right leg climbs skyward, the right knee comes in, the right foot steps forward, lift and place. When you do that, try to lift in place. Don't swing it forward. You use momentum if you swing. So lift up in place, and then if you need to readjust once you're here, do it. Remember, you can always set this back leg down, so this whole sequence could have been done with the back leg down. Pick up your hands first if you're able. Hover for a moment. Use that core. Relax any tension in your head, neck, or face. Learn to endure stress in one part of the body, but to not let it affect another. So your face doesn't need to be frustrated here. Lift on up. A higher lunge. So I still have weight in my front foot, and I'm learning where to shift my weight and what to do to stay balanced. This is functional movement. This is what we want to know so that we do this as we live day to day with our daily activities. Hands to heart center. Maybe we challenge balance again. Twisting to the right. Breathe. Hold postures, not the breath. Maybe we challenge. Left arm down, right arm skyward. Notice as you hold postures, how the mind will sometimes say, enough, come out of it. But you're learning to be resilient, to relax through that. Telling the mind, it's okay, we've got this. Maybe here, challenging balance again and strength, coming to your hands at heart center while you're low, much more of a challenge here. And release. 2 steps or 1 forward as we step, lift and place, forward fold. A slow reverse swan dive brings me up. My hands marry at heart center. And I release them to my side, and I once again take that few moments. This is your mountain pose. Tadasana. Always remember, Tadasana. This is where we ground. We pay attention. Listen, learn. This is important. We need to do this every day. And we need to really recognize that energy. We talked about this before, but when you come into a room, sometimes you can feel it. Maybe it's just one person that you're with. It's not that they're a bad person, but maybe they're going through something and you feel it. You feel heavy or like you're just being, all the energy being drained out of you. So that's because they want your good energy. So we need to pay attention to that. And we need to be careful. Of course, always extending love and empathy, but we don't need to take in that bad energy. So it's very important to stay aware of how you feel. So we come to balance. We've done a lot of balance already, but I always like to have a special balance section because as we get older, no matter how young we are, as we get older, we lose balance, right? So we need to practice. And it's not just practice. This is training your brain. When you lift that foot, you're training the brain to be normal here. The brain likes normal. It's very normal here on 2 feet. So when you lift 1 foot up, you're telling the brain, be normal here. If it hasn't done this a lot, that's when you do this, because the brain says, oh, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable, until you do it a lot, or you stay here long enough to make it. Then we bring in movement. Pull the knee up as high as you can. Feel the core tighten. Feel the quad start to engage. Lift it as high as you can, and then push through your heel. Lengthen and lift. Feel that quad working for you. and pull it back up. Now, same thing, but to the side. So lift your bent leg. Try not to lean. Keep the crown of the head skyward. Then extend the leg out. If you can't lift that leg off the floor, keep the toes on the floor. This is not a perfect class. There are perfect postures for you. But you don't have to be one way or the other or do something like anyone else is doing. All right, bring that leg back in. Same thing to the back. Now I want to push like I'm pushing a box away from me. And I feel the glutes engage and my core is tight. My body is long and tall. And then I lengthen and stretch the leg out behind me without leaning forward first. Feel the tension, good tension. This is stress on that right leg, but it's good stress. So remember, our perception of stress is huge. This is good. You're stressing that right leg, but you're strengthening. You're increasing balance. And we come forward. Warrior 3. Virabhadrasana 3. Now, if you need to keep your toes on the floor behind you, that's fine. If you would rather have your arms behind you, that's fine. We're trying to parallel over the floor here in our Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Strengthening the ankle, stretching the leg, reaching out with the arms. And then if you're able, come up without setting your foot down till you come all the way up. And we let go. We really notice our right leg after that. You should. If not, you've been practicing a lot of balance and you're very strong. Same thing on the opposite side. Remember, train that brain. This isn't just with balance practice, right? This is with things like worrying or thinking, even good things. Whatever you do a lot, brain starts to think of it as a norm. And until you work to undo that, to practice whatever you want instead of that, the more you do it, the more the brain likes that normal state. All right, push through the heel, lift the leg up, feel that quad get tight. 4, tight, anytime you balance. Bring that knee back in, same thing to the side. So I lift, try not to lean to the left, feel that outer thigh, then extend out. Same thing to the back. Push, just like you're pushing a box. Feel the glutes really come in, the core tighten. Breathe. Holding the posture, not the breath. Lengthen through the leg. Don't lean forward yet. Really lift that leg. Then come forward. Warrior 3. Virabhadrasana 3. If you can, come up without setting that leg down till you come all the way up. Almost like one leg is shorter than the other, and then settle it down. Great job. Wind our way down. Arms come skyward. Swan dive down, forward, fold, Tadasana. You can come down to your seated squat if you're able to do that, but if that's not good for you, step one knee down and then the other. A seated squat is something we should work towards as we get older. This is what a lot of cultures sit like this. And this is wonderful for the hips. But if it's not wonderful for you, don't do it. Keep working on modifications maybe until you can get to it. But if you never get to it, if it's not for you, it's not for you. Some people don't have the ankle flexibility, so maybe they need to lift up onto the balls of their feet. That's much more challenging balance, but it helps them because their ankles just don't have that flexibility. All right, now I want you to bring your arms behind you and walk back with your crab walk to the center of your mat. And then turn your fingers to your feet. Make sure your hands are underneath your shoulders. Don't work the triceps, an area that we don't work enough. We pull the arms in, and as we do, we feel that bicep stretch. We're hovering with the sit bones over the mat. Remember, when you hover, you're using your core, so your core should be pretty contracted here. And then as we start to bend through elbows and press the sit bones towards the heels and not let them touch the mat if we can help it. Pull those elbows in. Now you should feel your triceps with your arms bent. You bend those arms and you hover, you're going to feel that. And then come on back up. Now you can challenge here, Lift one leg. Keep your elbows bent. Hold them in. And come back. Opposite side. Keep those elbows bent. Draw them in. Cover the sit bones over the mat. Come back. We can lift all the way up. If you're able, maybe drop the head back, squeeze through the gluteus, feel the stretch in the arms, the bicep, the tricep. Then come back, bend. Couple more, lift, stretch, and come back. If it's too much to rock your head back, keep your head to your chest as you come up. Keep your chin to your chest. Just pull the sit bones up. Then come back. Wonderful. Now press your sit bones to your heels and lower the upper body down. All right, so now walk your heels up to your sit bones if they're not already there. Your knees are about hip width apart. We're moving into Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. Bridge pose is an inversion. So in inversions, when you're on the mat, you always keep your gaze to the ceiling. So I want you to push into your feet and lift the sit bones and the body up so that you have a straight line from your knees to your hips to your shoulders. Don't be overzealous. You don't want to arch in your back. You want your back long, and you want to be really pushing into the feet, so much so that you feel the gluteus, your sit bones really contract and tighten. Your core gets tight, the navel pulls down into your chest. Then lift your heels up if you're able, push into the balls of your feet. Now you're going to contract those glutes a little more. Setu Bandhasana, bridge pose. So beneficial. Strengthening the quads, the glutes, the core, but also inverting. So that blood flow rolling to the brain. Such a wonderful thing. Bridge pose. Now, as we slowly set the sit bones down, raise one leg up and the other. And you come to up the wall pose, another inversion. Now, this is a mild inversion. Most people can do this, but we still keep the gaze to the ceiling. I always encourage people to do this in the morning when they first wake up, maybe before they get out of the bed, and then also at night before they go to bed, because this really helps good sleep to occur, and it really helps with clarity of thought. But again, it can reduce inflammation in the body. While you're here, you can rotate through your ankles, wiggle through your toes. Remember, it's always a good thing to move, especially through your joints. Really coat that joint with the synovial fluid. Now, moving into inversions, and if you're not used to inversions and you want to sit up and watch, you can. But if you want to practice them, just listen to me, don't watch. Keep your gaze to the ceiling. So we can stay here. This is the easiest of inversions. But if we want to try, we can rock the legs out and above the head. So we can even give a little push with our sit bones. We come into plow pose. So our legs go over our head. Maybe our toes touch the floor behind us. Maybe they don't. Again, I'm very careful to keep from my shoulders up, stable. And I plant my hands at the base of my pelvic bone. So it's right at my pelvic bone, like a tripod. And if I want to move on, I lift my legs up. And I'm standing on my shoulder blades, hence shoulder stand. The queen of all postures. Obviously, you're inverting blood flow. After about 3 minutes, you reverse totally your blood flow. So your heart loves you. You can do whatever you want with your legs. You can scissor them. You can cross your legs and work some core here. You can bend, lift, lengthen, whatever you want to do with the waist down, but nothing from the shoulder up should move. Sarvangasana, shoulder stand. Excellent. So many benefits. But again, it needs to be for you. The way you come out is the way you came in. So we let the legs go back behind the head. And then the less you use your hands to come down, the more you use the core. But if you need to, hold on to your sit bones until you get to your up the wall pose. Now, if you have a really strong core and back, and you want to work the core a lot, When you lower the legs, you can keep them straight. If that's too much on your back, grab onto the edges of your mat or put your hands up underneath the lower back. Do not do anything that hurts. Not worth it. You hurt here, you're going to hurt later. Bring the arms above your head. Come to your full body stretch. Feel that stretch in the trunk of the body. Feel the navel drop. The rib cage lift. Feel your shoulder blades against the mat. Relax through your face. Okay. And then bend through your right knee and take your left arm and guide it over to the left. So your right bent knee is to the left. Your right arm reaches out to the right. Your gaze. Turn your right palm. And if you're able, hover that arm over the floor and reach out with the fingers. So we soften and relax the shoulder. We reach out with the fingers and we feel that stretch from the shoulder down. And you're challenging the muscles, the connective tissue in that arm by working against body weight. Remember, hovering always more challenging. Now use your core to bring that leg back in. Same thing on the opposite side. Then your left leg, guide it over with your right arm to the right. Your left arm extends out to the left with your gaze. Turn your palm, reach out through your fingers. Hover, if you will. Feel the vertebra twist as if you were wringing out a washcloth. So obviously, we're really manipulating the spine, and just like a piece of wire, when you bend it back and forth, it becomes more supple, more flexible, stronger. Okay, use your core, and then bring both knees into your chest. Give them a hug, rock back and forth a time or two on your back. Nice little massage from the mat to your back. And then we'll take our feet and we'll set them on either edge of the mat. Knees are bent. And we're going to drop that right knee to the inner arch of the left foot. And we feel the quad. We've used them quite a bit tonight. So we feel that quad stretch. And if you're able and you wish, you can drop the left leg as well. You're going to feel the right gluteus lift. You're going to feel that stretch. Move from the quad up into the hip flexor, the psoas. And depending on how much you push that knee down, you might feel it all the way up into the oblique. This is an excellent stretch, again, after you've been sitting for long periods of time. All right, now lift back up. Same thing on the opposite side. Left knee presses to the inner arch of the right foot. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe you drop the right knee. Feel that left gluteus lift. Feel the stretch. Move up into the abdomen. Again, after long meetings, come into this. Stretch that hip flexor, that psoas. All right, now just go ahead and glide the left knee over top of the right and bring the knees back to neutral. Give them a hug one more time. Hopefully this won't be your last hug today. Hugs are very medicinal. If you can, bring your nose up to come close to your knees, push into your lower back on the mat so that you protect it. Remember, strengthen those neck muscles as often as you can. So come to postures like this where you can lift and hold the neck muscle as long as you can, and then release it back down and come back up and just keep training those neck muscles to strengthen. All right, release the upper body down, lower one leg and the other. And then tell the body to relax. And notice when you tell it to relax, the position that it falls into. To begin to understand what means relaxation to the mind, to the body. Then begin to just listen and learn what calls on your attention. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's an emotion that was released, or you've been holding it tight within your connective tissue. Maybe it's your breath. Relax, just allow to flow in its natural rate and rhythm.
Gently bring your attention back to your breath. Notice the natural rate and rhythm it fell into. Notice your body. What thoughts surface during that time? What emotions possibly called out to you? Take a deep cleansing breath in. As you release that breath, visualize yourself letting go of anxiety, fear, worry, negativity, resentment, bitterness. These are things that bring dis-ease. Take another deep cleansing breath in and visualize yourself taking in light and every void being completed and filled, and every hurt, every injury being healed. Release your breath and allow movement to begin. And as you begin to move, notice what moves first and bring in appreciation and gratitude. To be able to tell an arm to lengthen, it does. And a hand to make a fist, it does. And toes to wiggle, they do. When you're ready, rotate onto one side or the other and bring yourself up to your seated position where we all started. We recognize that we're on the same mat. We're in the same place. We're in the same position, but we're not the same. We're stronger, know our bodies more. We've lived in the present moment. Let's stay there. Bring your hands to heart center. Jai Shri Sakuru Maharaj Ki means may the light of truth overcome all of darkness. So move from this place in light. Leave darkness off to the side of your mat. Share that light with everyone you come in contact with. We always end our practice with that simple salutation, Namaste. It simply means the light and life in me honors and respects the light and life in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. It's such a great yogi team here with me. Love having everybody in person, but also love the way that we can have all of you on Teams and Facebook. We will be back tomorrow here in the gym for those of you who work at NASA Langley at 11:15, and of course back on Teams and Facebook. And then Friday morning at 7 a.m. Have a wonderful rest of the evening.